Hey, what's up guys, Justinvels here, and today I'm back with another commentary video, and today's video is going to be a little bit different. Since the anime community is a bit angry with me from, well, last video, let's be honest, I thought how about we switch things up and we talk a little bit about video games. And today's video game that I'm going to be reviewing is the new Sonic CrossWorlds. I recently got my hands on it and I thought, what good is rage bait in one community when you can rage bait another community? That's probably just as bad. So here's my review on Sonic CrossWorlds, and if you like more content like this, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to the channel, and without further ado, release the intro! So you might be thinking, Sonic CrossWorlds, is it any good? Is it worth getting? Well, I'm about to answer all of them right now. If you've played any sort of kart racer such as Mario Kart, and well, to be honest, there's not really any other kart racers people play, it's pretty much Mario Kart. However, there's a twist. This game is at £80 and it actually looks like there's soul and ambition behind it. That's the difference. Minus the fact that the game already has a way bigger roster than Mario Kart World, and it actually holds some of the IPs from Sega. Yeah, I know, Sega including other characters from their IPs. Who would have thought? Sometimes they act as if half the franchises that they own isn't there. Right, Jet Set Radio? If you didn't know already, Sega owns a bunch of different IPs and some of them are really cool. One of them being Persona, the other one being the Yakuza games, and the biggest franchise of them all so far, Hatsune Miku. And you might be thinking, what the hell is Hatsune Miku doing in this? Let's be honest, it's Hatsune Miku. She's gonna be in anything Sega related. Collaborations are kind of her thing, but outside of the game's large character roster, what else is amazing? The fact that the gameplay is actually really good. If you're watching gameplay on like Twitch or YouTube or whatever, I know it looks a bit dry. However, the advertising that they've been showing on the promo is not doing this game justice. It's fast paced and it's actually pretty fun to play. I can actually say, hands down, this is actually one of their best kart races that they've released. Let's be honest, Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing is probably the best kart racer that they've released. I know that's not including Transformed.
That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
CrossWorlds is doing amazing in that department, and the game feels and plays wonderfully, especially the fact that it actually seems as if they took in consideration from the open beta, which, let's be honest, a lot of games don't end up doing that. They tweak a couple things, but it doesn't really change anything. But yeah, over 50 character interactions, like what more could you ask for? Mario Kart World doesn't have that. You know, slandering Mario just means you're just not going to get a sponsor from Nintendo, right? Yeah, I know, but let's be honest, they're not going to sponsor me anyways, so does it really matter? I don't think so. Now to talk about the bag. At this point, yeah, you can call it nitpicking, so if you're going to type in a comment section saying that I'm nitpicking, go ahead and do it now. Some of the issues I have with the game is the settings. I don't know why the default settings for this game is basically the A button, or if you're on PlayStation, cross. The fact that it's defaulted to accelerate and move doesn't really make sense to me. The fact that you can't even customize the button mapping to what you want is really just giving me a headache. It doesn't really make any sense. There's probably about 4 buttons that you use in this entire game, and that's not really a bad thing. Honestly, it's not. However, if you're using 4 buttons, I feel like I should have the right in customization to know where I allocate those 4 buttons. It gives you 3 different options, and to be honest, 2 of them aren't good and the other one's just about bearable. One of them is using the A button, which it just defaults you to. The other one is using the B button, which subconsciously it's just going to be the brake button, if that makes sense. But I don't even think this game has a brake. Let's be honest, it's a high-speed kart racer. It's not really going to have a brake button, is it? And then the third option is using RB, and that's the closest thing you can get to using the triggers. If you want to use the A button, go ahead and do that, but the alternative should definitely be using the triggers. I feel like that just doesn't make any sense. Now, if you want to talk about nitpicking, this is me nitpicking. Now for the other stuff. The power-ups in this game, majority of them are fine. Some of them are extremely unfair. Oh my goodness. The monster truck gimmick that they've got in this game, which I don't mind, I think is actually pretty cool. It's just the fact that it's either so broken that it doesn't make any sense, which is like, okay, I guess it's a skill issue, I'll accept. But the fact that there's a perk where you can start the race with just a monster truck, I'm sorry, but that's just selfish. Like, it tells me what type of player you are. Not a very good one at that. Like, let's be honest, if you're choosing the monster truck at the beginning of the race as a perk and you're letting it take up a whole 3 slots on your gear slot, let's be honest, you didn't really come here to play the game properly, did you? You didn't want to race. You didn't want to race. But yeah, other than that, the servers with this game, I don't know, it's a bit finicky. I don't know if it's just me, and I'll take responsibility if it's just me. However, I was playing with one of my friends, and an issue that we kept running into occasionally was the disconnect. Some of the times he would just disconnect from either the lobby or the game, and you can't leave a lobby once it's basically just found your race. Even if you've just joined for 1 second, the game's just not going to allow that at all. But I don't know if that's just a crossplay feature, because again, he's on PC, I'm on Xbox, so maybe the game's not really working out as it should. I don't know if that's something to do on our side or just the game just being weird. I haven't really found this out as an issue that people are complaining with yet. After that, I feel like with the game options, right, I do feel as if there should be more game mode options, right? Now with the online features, I feel like online is pretty much stable. When you're in a race, there's little to no lag and the game kind of knows how to manage all of that. But hey, some games say we're in 2025, but their servers look like they're still running it off a toaster, and a very bad one at that. But yeah, with the game modes, it doesn't really make any sense. Like, I think if the game had just like the head-to-head race where you can just do the one race and that's fine, like how it is right now, and then the Grand Prix mode as like a separate option, that would make so much more sense. Everybody would love that. But just going into like one race every single time, and I feel like at the end of the day, when you win a race, there should be a victory screen. I feel like that's the base level of having an online thing to be able to glow. I don't know, maybe it's just me. And another thing as well, this is a whole kart racer, and to be honest, I didn't know this was a thing up until I played this game. When you finish a race, right, it doesn't tell you the time at which you finished the race. So it tells you the place, which, okay, yeah, I know that I'm first and second or whatever, but it doesn't have the individual time. So I don't know how far I am behind someone else or how close it was between me and the other person. Now, I know that's a really small thing. However, you don't realize it up until you play at least a couple games and you're thinking, something's missing. That's what's missing. The fact that you don't know how fast you're completing a lap. It doesn't make any sense. And you're thinking, maybe they just didn't add it into their other games. No, it's in the previous games. If the Riders series and the original All-Stars Racing series can have that, then I don't really know. It feels a bit weird. I don't know. I feel like they could just fix that in an update, of course. And a lot of the issues I'm talking about can be fixed in an update. But yeah, that's kind of just my rant about this game. Is it worth getting? 100%. Is it worth the 60 something pound price tag? I'm going to be honest with you. Sega, you could have sold this game for 50. However, judging at the fact that this is supposed to be a kart racer on the same build quality as Mario Kart World, we can cut you a little bit of slack. But do I think this game is going to have longevity? I think so. And the reason why I think so is because of the fact that Mario Kart World at the moment has all the count. It's going to be one of those things where even in 20 years time, people are going to look back and think, Mario Kart World wasn't that bad, when in fact it was. However, with Sonic CrossWorlds, all the collaborations that they've announced for this game, plus the roadmap that they've kind of announced, is kind of showing to me that they kind of care about this game just a little bit more than they did with Sonic Team Racing. It's a bit of a shock, right? I feel like if they play their cards right and they actually listen to the community, this is a live service game that could go on for at least a good 3 years in its lifespan. If they realize people like this game, they will do extra stuff for it. I don't know why people pretend as if they don't care that much. They kind of do. The same thing happened with Frontiers. People are complaining about the physics, left, right, and center. A year later, they released the Final Horizon DLC, and 90% of the issues that were occurring in that game, minus the pop-in, were fixed, or at least made the game a bit better. And another thing that I kind of realized about this game is that it felt weirdly familiar to another game that came out, but I couldn't put my finger on it until I realized this game feels like Disney Speedstorm. And if you guys forgot about what Disney Speedstorm was, it was literally a Disney inspired Mario Kart, which was supposed to do really well, but they really messed up with the optimization and the gameplay mechanic. I don't know how you fumbled it. In order to play an online match, you needed to play 20 games. That game is not that good. It had 4 maps. But yeah, in terms of aesthetic and stuff like that in the CrossWorlds, that game is so clearly inspired by Disney Speedstorm, it's not even funny. But am I complaining? No, because of course they did it right. But the only thing I am going to complain about is the people who choose the Sonic Lost World CrossWorld. I'm talking about the one that's so colorful it's practically blinding. Other than that, the game is really good, and hopefully with future updates we get different maps from previous games like Sonic Riders and other Sega franchises. Why just limit it to CrossWorld? I just never understood that. That's kind of just my rant done with this game. Trust me, now I'm done, guys. I know this video was a bit different, guys, but let me know how you feel about it. If you like more content like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, peace.